Welcome back to Fact Checking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. from the presidential debate. This is about Social Security and the budget. I'm going to roll the clip and fact check throughout.
Again, very important question, Dodge. Social Security is going bankrupt. Taxing the rich more won't solve it. What would you cut? Or what would you do?
Well, I agree with you. And
I know he didn't say it for himself, but he agreed with the host that Social Security is going to run out, so I just want to add something to that. That is true, and the Social Security Administration says, quote, benefits are now expected to be payable in full on a timely basis until 2037, when the trust fund reserves are projected to become exhausted.
Social Security is not an entitlement. Social Security is a contract. Workers put 6% of their income into into a fund, and they're told that at 65 they're going to get that money back. It's not an entitlement. It is contractual, and the United States government would be outrageous if the United States government did not live up to its full faith and credit of paying back those obligations, even if it has to reach outside of the Social Security system to get it. And what we need to be doing is winding down our military commitments. We need to unravel the war machine. We need to solve our chronic disease epidemic, which is the biggest cause, $4.3 trillion.
Again, he said, we need to solve our chronic disease epidemic, which is the biggest cost, $4.3 trillion, and this is pretty darn close. According to the CDC, about 90% of the annual $4.1 trillion healthcare expenditure is attributed to managing and treating chronic diseases and mental health conditions.
And we can do those things very quickly. I'm going to cut the military budget in half during my first 4 years. I'm going to use AI and blockchain to eliminate waste in government to save more money. And I'm going to get rid of the chronic disease epidemic. And ultimately, that's going to save us a lot of money. And this has to be a priority for us. I also want to say this, that I was astonished by President Biden's claim that we have the best economy in the world. We have, I see kids every day. None of this generation is going to get into a home. And that's going to destroy the American middle class. The American middle class, the greatest economic engine in the history of mankind. When I was a kid, our country owned half the wealth on the face of the earth.
Now listen, I'm not trying to age Kennedy or anything, but this is what I found. According to Forbes, in 1960, the US had 40% of the world's GDP. And in 2019, it was 24%.
And it was largely because, one, we had an industrial base after World War II, but most importantly, we got every American into a home. And because they were in a home, they had equity, they could borrow money, they could bet it on a business.
Back to CNN.
And that's what's going to drive our economy.
That's what I have for you for this one. As always, let me know your thoughts and make sure you're following me for more.